Hi there, I'm Matt Przekwas and I'm in the Grazing County cover crop program right now. We farm in Grazing County and we run cow-calf operation. We've been here with me and my wife have been here for 13 years. We have 5 kids, Clarence, Adina, Clifford, Clancy, and Betsy, and we are getting into cover crops and trying to find the benefit in it and seeing the benefit in it. So we're working right now with what we have and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, and whether to make the decision to make the big try to make that next step and like doing more no-till and working with and implementing the cover crops in that way. Right now we're doing a lot of broadcasting with a spin spreader and trying to see how we can make that work, and if we can make that work, we're definitely thinking about making an investment on getting up some bigger equipment and doing more acres, because right now we do pretty new into this. We're doing about maybe 5% of the farm, 10%. Just trying to kind of play with it a little bit, so kind of experimenting right now because it's kind of a new thing up in this area, and we're seeing benefits. What we like to biggest thing we're seeing is we're increasing our grazing time in the year and saving that way. It seems like every year a guy has some kind of weather traumatic issue, like this year where it was wet till into middle of July, and we didn't get any haying done till then. So if we can increase our grazing season, we find a big benefit to that. Yeah, right now we've tried oats and rye, radishes, turnips. Haven't gotten real crazy with our mixes yet because it's kind of new, but we're buying some rye out of local elevator. We got a guy over by Warroad, that Jade Essling. We're buying radish seed from him. He's growing it actually for seed over there, and then a lot of stuff's from the elevator. We put down probably our mixes are kind of shot off the hip here, but radishes, you don't want to put them too thick or else they don't really get big, what I've noticed. So we put down about 5 to 10 pounds of radish seed, and then we kind of mix the rye in there, maybe a bushel of rye and a bushel of oats or something with the mix, and same with the turnips, just 5 pounds, 10 pounds, depending on the germ of it, I guess. That's kind of our mix right now. A lot of times it either works or it doesn't. So, and like the biggest thing we've noticed too is the weather. Last few years we've been dry, haven't got the stands you'd like, but you still saw benefit from it. So especially with the rye, what I like about seeding rye for grazing is you get grazing time for it in the fall time, and then you also get grazing in the springtime from it too, because as long as you don't overgraze it. We've tried it with, like I said, with what we've got. We've went to some soil conferences and different things and talked to different people. They said, be creative, use what you have, don't make that big investment until you know you want to do this and you want to actually make that big step, I guess, and spend the money, right? And we're all about saving money, right? So I've used my just a regular press drill. We've used that. We've seen that work last year just to try, because it was dry. We wanted to try to get the seed into the ground, into the subsoil, if there was any. So we saw benefit of that. That's where I saw the big benefit of grazing the rye, where it came back well in the spring too. This year we've been actually extremely wet, and we just broadcast it with the spin spreader, and we were lucky enough to get a rain right after we did it. And another thing, like on this field here, it was kind of drowned out, and there was a poor stand of oats, and what we did was we cut the oats for hay, and when it was in the windrow, we actually went in front of the rake and broadcasted the seed to try just kind of work it into the ground, scratch the ground a little bit to get the seed kind of, I guess, soil the seed contact. And we actually found that it worked pretty decent. We were surprised. So it's coming. We did this field it was kind of middle of August, kind of beginning of August, and yeah, it's coming up pretty good. I mean, we're happy so far with what's coming. We're gonna actually take and graze our calves on this after we wean them. So that's kind of so we're excited to see how this is gonna work. It's a change. It's something you gotta really think outside the box. You know, you wanna, guys talk about, oh, you wanna have your fields prepared and stuff, but we've been able to make it work so far. Granted, like I said, weather again. When it comes into the spring, it can have its challenges too. But I mean, it's fun to experiment, I think, and as long as you don't, it doesn't put you in too big of a hole, I guess. So, but yeah, we'll quick fence this. We'll split it off in the paddocks and let the calves graze and that. So Clarence is over there. He was going to show you guys what he does. So with the quick fence, we found out that you don't always, you got pieces of ground that you don't want to necessarily go out and make the big investment and put in T-posts or any kind of posts and string out wire, because you got pieces that you maybe just rented for a year or something. You got a good fencer and good wire, and your strings up to date and not rotted away, but we found a lot of benefit in using the quick fence to fence around big areas. I mean, we fenced up whole quarters with it and graze cows, and found that it's kind of a new thing that a guy there again asking questions, and he said, yeah, get this stuff, and they got different styles of posts. These are like a pigtail on the end, and they just step in real easy, just like this, but you just step on that and push it in, and it seems like it'll hold the cows in. I'm gonna say, not gonna say that the cows always stay in it, but everybody has their days, right? So, but yeah, it's been an improvement to be able to take advantage of chunks of land that we hadn't before, where we didn't have to go and do high tinsel or barbed wire or something, where we can just do a quick fence, pick it up. It takes, oh man, it takes probably an hour to fence off a full quarter. I mean, you're just really quick. We'll use the Ranger a lot of times, and I'll hold the wire and the kids will come up behind me, and that's one thing. It's been great to spend time with the kids and watch them. For some reason they enjoy running behind sticking posts, and gets them outside, get some exercise, gets myself exercise. But it's just a family affair too, so that's probably the biggest benefit for me, is to watch the kids be interested in it, and prepare them for the future, I guess, and passing it on to the next generation. So it's important. So, and just showing them, getting them outside and letting them see how nature works. And so the biggest thing I've seen is the benefit in our extended grazing period. I am noticing, granted this year, like I said, weather, but we have another field that I've been working with. I can definitely, they talk about the difference in how the soil feels, from like a rock to a sponge, it's like it's packed and it's really spongy. I've noticed that. The biggest challenge is being able to manage the time in between, trying to, and weather, you can't obviously manage that, so trying to be on top of things and be ready to get things seeded when it's time. Like this year, we couldn't get into our corn to seed the cover crop until late. It was, August. So the corn was already starting to get up to your chest to 6 feet high. Well, when you broadcast it, you don't seem like you get the coverage. You don't. I was just looking at it, and it's not. I'm not real happy with that, but we're trying it. We're gonna see, maybe something will pop up after we chop it. That's kind of another challenge, is get out of the traditional, I guess, way of farming, where you work the ground, you seed the seeds, and trying to get away from commercial fertilizer a little bit, and just let that carbon build up in the soil, and build up the soil, so we don't deplete it of all everything. So I was explained, like, the soil's like a factory. There's just millions of bugs in the soil, and every time you go and work that soil, it shuts down that factory. So to think it sounds crazy to me, but we're seeing how it can work. I definitely have seen it on a couple pieces that we've started using, where we for hay, where we've grazed the cows kind of heavy, kind of mob grazed it, and then just let it rest, and our tonnage has increased tremendously on those pieces. Unfortunately, it's only small because we're kind of into this new, but to try implement it to a bigger scale is gonna be a challenge, because it's gonna take a lot more fencing and time and management. But and as we all know up here, sometimes our season gets shortened up by the white stuff. So we're new into the game, so it's something we think about. Me and my wife talk about it all the time, and as long as we're both on board, I guess we're gonna go with it and see how it works. Don't be afraid to fail, I'll tell you that. There's definitely been times where you're thinking, I'm just going to throw this out the window and not even worry about it, but last couple of years gotten a little bit better with getting things done on time and being ready. That would be one thing. Just be patient, and just try to be prepared when you're ready to seed. don't be afraid to use what equipment you got. Don't go make that big investment. I mean, a new drill, I mean, you can spend a tremendous amount of money on a drill. Just be creative. And if you're worried about what the neighbor thinks, like we do, go do it in the back 20 or 40 and experiment. Don't let, you know, you don't have to, don't be afraid. It either will work or it won't. And to be honest with you, I was always worried about, oh, the seed's going to cost so much. Really nowadays, it's a drop in the bucket. It didn't actually amount to much. So there's been disasters where it's like, that was a waste of time and money, but how do you know if you don't try it? You learn from every mistake. A lot of people don't tell you that. The mistakes they've had, they always tell you about the good and stuff. But if you can make it work, I can see the benefit in it. Reading books, researching. David Pratt, Gabe Brown, all those guys, they've been doing it for years. And if you haven't started it, you're already too late. It just seems, it's hard to fathom what they're talking about, but I can see the benefit in it. And don't be afraid to ask questions is the other thing. I mean, talk to people that have tried it. Talk to your agronomists, say what they think. I'll be honest with you, some of them aren't real sure about it, but then others think it's a great thing. So it's getting to be a new thing. You know, we don't have to always do what our grandfather did or our dad did or, you know, our mom or whatever, but it's a new thing, and we gotta take care of our earth and take care of it and pass it on to the next generation, I guess. So we want to make sure we maintain what we got and not leave such a big footprint, I guess. So.